डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Welcome again. We are looking at software engineering lectures. It's about block 2, right? We have already started unit 1. We have already seen 2 different sessions of unit 1, right? It's related to software quality management. In the last session we saw was quality control, right? What is quality control, all right? What are the standards for quality control? What is required to control the quality, all right? Then we saw was inspection, right? What is inspection process, right? What are the reviewers, who are the inspectors, who are the moderators, right? We saw what is walkthrough and review, all right? So after this, now in today's session we will be looking is at why these standards are required for my quality control, what are the different standards, alright, what is the need of those standards. Then we will be saying is software quality metrics or the parameters that is required for my software quality, right. And lastly we will be saying is CMM model, that is capability maturity model, right. So this is all with the session, alright. So today we will start with the first point, that is why standards, right. Let us look what are these standards and why these are very essential, okay. It is not that there could be issues related to quality and process while developing the software product, alright. So not always you encounter some problems or the defects or the there are certain issues while you are developing your software, alright. For formalization of product, but for the formalization of product, many software companies are nowadays coming with their own standards that carry effective key features which are favorable for effective quality management. But in order to ensure certain kind of quality management, right, in order to ensure certain software quality measures, alright, certain companies nowadays or the organizations nowadays are coming up with various quality standards, alright, to be fulfilled. Alright, and the standards could be international, national, organizational or related to any project, or it can be specific to some project, alright. So in order to ensure certain quality and to manage that quality, alright, those quality standards we have, alright, and those standards can be international ones, those can be national ones, the organizational ones, or maybe related to some few projects only, alright. Product standards explains about the characteristics where every components exhibit a common programming style. Common programming style is there, whereas a process standards define how the software process should be performed. So there are two different standards available. One is called as product standard, another one is called as process standard. Now what is product standard? Product standard explains that certain characteristics are there with my product, alright, and when a programmer uses that particular product or the customers uses that particular product, certain characteristics will be there. So all those are mentioned into my product standards, alright. Well, process standard explains about that the software process should be performed. What all software process are to be performed are all mentioned with my process standards. So we have two different standards, product standard and process standard. Now there are many reasons for quality standards in software. Why do we require quality standards? Let's say why standards, right? So why do we require quality standards? Alright, what are those quality standards and why are we requiring that? It is because, first point, it ensures best practice by avoiding repetitive mistakes. Alright, if I check your paper, I say that yes, so and so error you have made in your paper, probably the same error will not be now repeated in your next paper because you have kept it in mind that yes, this error I did in my first paper, in my second paper I will not do that error, alright. So that repetitive mistakes that is there, repetitive errors that you do, it will ensure that you do not do it again, alright. So ensuring best practice by avoiding repetitive mistake is the first point. Then second, involving certain quality assurance checking standard compliance, right? It helps you to check the quality assurance, alright. So there is a quality assurance is nothing but yes, it is a checklist that certain kind of quality will be provided, right. So that quality assurance checklist is provided and it involves those certain quality assurance checklist, right. Then makes new joinee to understand better about the quality produced and standards. Alright, so whatever quality you have in your particular organization, the standards that you are following for your quality control or quality management, alright, helps your new joinee to understand it better about the quality produced and the standards. So whosoever is your new joinee, alright, you do not have to explain them that this is what qualitative work we do, right, this is kind of quality that we provide to our customers. No, they can understand it very well through the standards that you provide, right. Then next we will see quality standard involves, right, what are the things that it involves. First, it involves practitioners, which could be an engineer, to understand the rationale of particular standard, right, the logic behind a particular standard, whatsoever rules or whatsoever standards that you have established to ensure your quality, alright, whether it is proper or not, whether it is rational or not, is provided by practitioners. Practitioners are generally, they could be an engineer who are a very well experienced people, alright. Then reviewing of standards with proper utilization, alright, your standards will be reviewed properly and with a utilization capability or a usability capability, alright. Then certain tool with support quality with less of clerical work, alright, it will even use certain tools, alright, and it will ensure that some clerical work, that is manpower, is utilized less, right. So certain tool with support quality with less of clerical work, alright. Attributes related to quality. Now what are the attributes related to quality? Attributes related to quality are safety, we know what is safety, security, whether my particular product that I am doing is secured enough, reliability, whether I am going to rely on it or not, alright, resilience, right, like, and robustness, alright, whether it is going to be resilient one, if any error exists it can be avoided easily, robust, whether it can be carried out with some other system also, understandability, whether it is self understandable or not, testability, adaptability, whether I can adapt new more changes into it, alright. Then modularity, whether it is modular enough or no, it is working improper somewhere. Complexity, it should not be highly complex. Portability, it should be working with one system maybe easier with the other system, in the same way with the third system also it should be highly portable, right. Usability, it should be usable enough. Reusability, of course, when it is I am saying usability, it should also have reusability. Efficient and learnability, it should be efficient enough, and learnability, that means it can exist, learnability means it ensures that certain things which is required to be maybe put on further, alright, or maybe added further, should be self learnable, alright. So all this attributes are related to quality, alright. You can remember very few, and we have already discussed it in our previous lectures also. Now next topic is software quality metrics or parameters. Now what is metrics? Metrics, we have already seen what are metrics, right, software metrics, we saw function point metrics, right, in the last unit, alright. So what are software quality metrics? They are actually the measurement, alright, which allows an organization in improving the process, planning, tracking and controlling of software projects, and thereby proper assessing of quality, alright. So software quality metrics are nothing but they are the measurement of what? Of the quality that my particular product, my particular organization is going to provide me through that product, alright. It is a measure of particular attributes of process, project and product which is used to calculate software metrics. So whatsoever attributes I am providing to my project, maybe functionality wise, maybe characteristic wise, alright, all those attributes are calculated, they are measured, alright, for my process, project and product, and that calculation leads to my software metrics, alright. Then metrics are analyzed and provides a dashboard to management. They are analyzed thoroughly and they provide a dashboard to your management on overall progress of process, project and product. So your process, project and product, 3 P's, we call it as 3 P's. All this 3 P will be analyzed easily by your management, and that is done with the help of a dashboard, alright, and that is what is software metrics about, alright. Type of metrics used normally account for checking of quality requirements that can be achieved during software development process. So that is ensuring your quality requirements, and that metrics that is there, alright, helps you to develop your software process in such a way that it provides you with, you know, higher amount of efficiency, higher amount of performance and a better quality. Right. Now, software metrics is of classes process metrics, all right. We can see here also it includes 3 different classes: process metrics, project metrics and product metrics. We will see each of this individually. I am again repeating, my software metrics are including 3 classes: first process metrics, then project metrics and product metrics. I said we have 3 P's, right. So, what is process metrics now? Process metrics measures the efficiency of the processes. So, your software includes various kind of processes, right. So, all those processes, whether they are efficient enough or not, the efficiency of those processes are being checked by the process metrics, right. Then it stretch on quality achieved as a result of managed process. If your processes are well managed, alright, then you find that your particular product is very highly qualitative, right. So, it stretches on the quality of that project, of that process, sorry. Then it is a reusable data mostly applied for prediction, right. It is a reusable data. I said that reusability is one of the most major factor that analyzes your software quality, right. So, it is reusable data mostly applied for prediction. And lastly, it is a form of defect removal efficiency. Whatsoever the defect is there within your managed processes, right, that defects are found out and they are removed efficiently in the process metrics, right. Next is project metrics, right. Now, what is project metrics and what does it do? All right. It is related with your status of your project. So, very first is it will assess the status of the project, whether your project has reached to maybe to a certain time frame, all right. For example, you said that my project is of 5 different modules. I will finish each module after after every 15 days. So, my module 1 has been completed in those 15 days or not, all right. That status of my project will be done with the help of project metrics. Right. Then it helps in tracking of risk also, all right, whether my particular project that I am carrying out has any kind of risk associated with it or not, all right. That is done, that tracking of risk is done with the project metrics. It finds the problem areas, whatsoever problem persists with my project are also found with this project metrics. And lastly, it balances the workflow. Alright, workflow means I said that my module, 5 modules are there, I am going to complete my each module after 15 days, right. So, after 15 days when I complete my project, so I can eventually say that maybe probably after 75 days my entire project will be completed and rest 5 days for documentation and all those rough things, right. So, after 80 days my entire project will be completed. So, it gives you balances to the workflow. If my module 1 took 20 days, then that shows that my module 2, 3, 4 and 5 should be completed maybe after 13 days of it, right. So, entire project completion should happen after 80 days, then it balances the workflow accordingly. If my one module preparation takes much time, then my other module preparation should take lesser time in compiling its code, alright. So, it balances the workflow. Next class is product metrics class. Alright. Now, what is product metrics? It will measure predefined product attributes. Your product whatsoever is established, is developed, all the attributes, the characteristics, the features of that product will be measured with the help of product metrics. And secondly, lastly, that is, it stresses on quality of deliverables. Alright, whatsoever your attributes are there, when you deliver it, how qualitative are your deliverables? All that is also calculated in the product metrics. So, we basically saw that our software metrics is having 3 different classes: process, project and product. Each individually lying with the process, that is the process of my software development, other one lying with the project that I am going to carry out for my software development, and the last one which is the product, my work product. Alright, and the quality of my work product calculation done for the quality is into my product metrics, right. Now, it is found that software quality metrics is a subset of software metrics which stresses on quality of product, process and project, that is 3 P's, alright. It is closely linked with process and product metrics as compared to project metrics. So my particular software quality metrics is majorly lying on process metrics and product metrics, and a few, I mean a bit less onto my project metrics. So basically if you check, software quality metrics puts stress on, or it you know implies or involves much more the process metrics and the product metrics rather than the project metrics. It carries project parameters like number of developers with skill levels, how many number of developers were there in developing the entire project, alright, what was their skill level, the schedule, that is the time frame to build up that project, the size of that project, that is the complexity size, right, and affecting product quality of an organization. It is broadly divided into end product quality metrics and the in process quality metrics, alright. What is end product quality metrics and what is in process quality metrics? It says that when I deliver my software, what is the end product quality, alright. That means when I deliver it, what is the actual scenario, what is the quality, whether my product is very good, whether my product is less good, alright. So that is end product quality. And in process quality metrics, that means when I am doing the coding, while I am into the process, what is its quality, alright, that is in process quality metrics. Common software metrics which checks for improvement relates to source lines of code, alright. So firstly the quality of your product depends on the source lines of your code, then cyclical complexity of my code, alright, whether my code is quite complex, whether it is reusable, what is the complexity level of it, and cyclical complexity we will discuss later on also. Then function point analysis, I said function point metrics, we discussed it in last block, unit 2, right, what is function point metrics, right. Then function point analysis, then bugs per line of code, how many bugs are there per line of code, whether there is 0 bug, there is 1 bug, 2 bug per line of code, alright. Then code coverage, how much code coverage I have done, alright. Number of classes and interfaces, how many classes I have used in my software code, how many interfaces I have used in my code, alright. Cohesion and coupling among the modules, alright, whether my my modules that are there, I said our software project is having 5 modules, right, then whether they are cohesively attached, whether they are coupled, alright, it is always better to have high amount of cohesion and low amount of coupling, alright. So that is cohesion and coupling among the modules. So software quality metrics or parameters has this common software metrics, this many common software metrics, right. Next, software quality metric focus on the process, project and product as said, alright. By analyzing the metrics, the organization can take corrective action to fix those areas in the process, project or product which are the cause of software defects. So whenever I find any software defects into my software, alright, or my in the construction of my software, alright, then those defects are to be eliminated in order to enhance the quality of my software, and that every organization does with the analysis of the software quality metrics, right. So software quality metrics helps my organization to understand that what all defects are there with my software and how to overcome those defects in order to achieve certain quality of my software, alright. Last topic of the unit is 5 levels of capability maturity model, one of the easiest topic and yet the most important one. We call them as usually as CMM model, alright. So capability maturity model, also CMM, is a model of process maturity for software development. Your process should be highly matured, it should be very thorough, alright, in order to develop any software. Alright, it is an evolutionary model. It is an evolutionary model of progress of companies' abilities in order to frame the software. Alright, so it is a kind of an evolutionary model that company keeps on evolving out of in order to achieve ability, the capability, alright, and frame that particular software. In software development company, there are standards for processes of development, testing and application which works with certain rules for appearance of final program code, components, interfaces, etc. Alright, any company you take up, when they are building any software, alright, they have certain set of rules, certain set of standards predefined already, right, for each individual different processes or within the software life cycle, that is development phase, testing phase, application phase, alright. So, all this comes as a package, you know, and they have all these standards rules established already for each of this, alright. The CMM model describes 5 level path showing organized and systematically arranged processes, alright. There are 5 different levels, alright, 5 different paths are there for each of this for a CMM model, and we will see each of this later. It was framed by Software Engineering Institute, alright. Who framed that CMM 5 levels? It was framed by Software Engineering Institute, which happens to be an R&D center of US Department of Defense. It is a R&D session or an R&D sector of US Department of Defense, alright. This model is similar to ISO 9001 with one ISO 9000 series of standards that was specified by International Organization for Standardization. So, it follows ISO 9001 and 9000 standards, alright, and let us see what this model states of, alright. As said, there are 5 levels, alright. So, level 1, which is the initial one, it says that there are managed practices and there is people management, alright. So, at the initial level, you have to have managed practices, which is already, you know, your organization is practicing the management, alright. The managed practices means all the standards, the rules that your particular organization is practicing, alright, that is its initial level, plus the people management, plus the people management, that what, you know, what all people you require and how to manage that people comes at the initial level. Level 2 is repeatable, alright. So, whatever repeatable actions are there, alright, you need to repeat it, and there are tailored practices, that means certain practices you need to cut off. Certain practices from the managed practices you need to cut off, certain you need to implement, alright, tailored practices are there, and competence management is there, alright. So, from people management, now you go to competent people. Competent people means sound people who are competitive enough, alright. So, that comes under repeatable task. Now, you select certain set of people who can work on this, then you move to level 3. Level 3 is called as defined task, alright, or a defined level. Now, what is defined level? If you understand that you know, there is a repeatable task, alright, and for that repeatable, whatsoever competent people you have found out, right, all those competent people you need to define them, alright, define them with the roles, alright, what are the roles to that particular, you know, for a particular people, alright, what they have to do, what they cannot do, alright. So, define it. When you define it, it includes certain standards, certain practices, and it excludes certain practices, alright, because not every practices are to be followed during your the evolutionary phases, right, when you are about to develop your project, alright. So, you define it, then managed it, alright. Once you define it, now you need to manage that particular people, the set of competence that you have found out, alright, as well as the practices that you are going to have. So, it says measured and aligned practices, alright. So, whatsoever practices that are tailored out, which are excluded, which are included, right, all those which are included should be measured and aligned, alright. They should be measured particularly very well, and they should be under alignment of your company or your organization, right. So, measured and aligned practices, and there is capability management, alright. Now, I have found that certain set of people are competent enough to work with my project, alright, but certain people who I have said they are competent enough have different capabilities. For example, I have 3 people in my company whom I am supposed to, you know, give up this project to, alright. Person 1 is very good in designing, person 2 is good in coding, and person 3 is good in testing, alright. So, when these 3 people, when I combine them, they have their own different capabilities. So, on the basis of, you know, competent management, my team is created. That team would be consisting of the capabilities that are there with individual of them, alright, and that team management will now be capable enough to handle that particular project, alright. So, our people management to competent people to team of those competent people, and out of them reaching to a capability of each of this, alright, whosoever the team members are there, their management, their capabilities, their level of expertise, alright, comes under capability management. Now those measured and aligned practices now gives continuously improving practices with the help of the last level, which is called as optimizing, alright, which is called as optimizing level. Now this optimizing is nothing but it gives you to, it makes you reach to an optimal level of your standards where it is being, you know, optimally decided. That means optimally decided means if any improvement is required, alright, within your standards or your practices, then all those improvements are also, you know, continuously observed, all those improvements are continuously, you know, involved into it, alright. So continuously improving the practices. So this 5 different standards make up one capability maturity model, which is followed by every organization today, alright, and we call it generally a CMM model. Let us once again repeat it with level 1 being the initial one, alright, where every certain people is taken up, alright, we manage those people and our standard practices are already there, which we are following from since when, right, from the initial to the repeatable. Now see whether which person is competitive enough, alright, select those people with their, you know, their competence level, alright, the skill level, their mindset, alright, and those managed practices, just tailor out all those managed practices, whether this practice is required, this practice is not required, tailorable means cut off certain practices if not required, alright, that comes under repeatable. Then move to level 3, which is defined. Defined is, again I am mentioning, defined is something that defines the roles of particular teams, alright, according to their competence, alright. For example, designing team, testing team, coding team, deployment team, alright, and those team will consist of competent people, all those competent people competent enough with those particular, you know, aspects, alright, and those tailored practices now are measured and aligned practices. Now those measured and aligned practices are defined at this level, level 3, and they reach to level 4, which is a managed level, alright, and managed level is the one which gives you the measurement of your practices, the aligned practices, and those team which is there with competitive people are now made to reach at some certain capability in order to achieve your quality, right. So that continuously improving practices that is there over here will be optimized in your optimization level, alright. So this is called as CMM, that is capability maturity model, which is very essential and being used in almost all the organization. That is all with the unit 1, and in this unit we have learnt what is software quality, right. We have seen what is software quality, why is it so much essential. We saw verification and validation, right, V and V, alright. Then we saw quality control, how to control our quality and what are the standards, the aspects, the internal factors and all, right. We even saw software inspection or code inspection, right, what is inspection, who are the reviewers, who are inspectors, who are, you know, who are the moderators, right. We saw walkthrough and review, alright, because in inspection we have walkthrough, we have review, alright. Then we saw capability maturity model, we call it as CMM, alright. Next unit is all about testing, alright, the types of testing and all. So in the next session we will see block 2 unit 2, alright. Thank you so much with this.
स्वाध्यायः